believe, yeah, 6-3 since they lost to the Steelers.
Then they would play the Broncos, I believe, next. Yes, the Broncos.
First they would play the Colts, and they beat them. They would play the Broncos. I think they could win both of those games, to be honest. I'm not saying that because they just beat the Broncos like a couple weeks ago. I'm saying that because I really like this Bengals team. But there's two types of Bengals teams that come out. There's the one that is absolutely just running the show, scoring at a ridiculous rate, and there's another team that just comes out flat and just turns the ball over at a ridiculous rate.
And those are the teams that are in the playoffs for the Bengals. The last 3 years, 0 for their last 3.
Yeah, like, honestly, when was the last time you heard the Bengals win a game in the playoffs?
Was it sometime in the 1980s?
It was in the 1980s.
It was when they made the Super Bowl against the San Francisco Giants or
49ers.
Whoa. The 49ers.
The point is, it's been a long time since they've won a playoff game. So, I honestly think they are going to at least win one. I think they're definitely going to beat the Colts because I really have not been impressed by the Colts. Like they beat the teams they're supposed to, and then when they play a playoff team, they just lose every single time. Like I literally never seen them beat a playoff team. So definitely they can beat the Colts. I think they can also beat the Broncos because just have not been impressed with the Broncos of late. I don't think anybody can really say they have been. Excuse me. Come on, man.
This is a drug-free program.
Did
you see the Colts beat the Broncos?
They're a good team. I've not been impressed with the Broncos lately.
That make crackheads have made more sense.
Yeah.
The Colts.
My opinion.
It's his opinion.
Okay,
and if you think about it, Denver, besides the Oakland game yesterday, have they really looked that impressive? In Miles' defense, at New England, they simply were flat. They were simply flat.
Recently. To begin the year, they looked good.
Yes, but against Oakland, that was just to me, fine, it's Oakland. But New England, no show. To me, I can agree with you on that, but I still think I'll give Denver barely the edge.
I definitely think they're the favorite going to the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if Cincinnati were to beat them.
No. Yeah. I think it's very, very hard for me to look at a Peyton Manning who's 39 with an arm that may as well be 89, try and win a playoff game in the cold after an entire season, yet another season, and also that neck, I'm sure, is just about ready to snap in half. This man has just done everything over his career. Well, Miles Walker, thank you for joining us, and make sure to tune in very quick. Okay, definitely one who's too humble for us here on the National Sports Radio Station. Moving on, playoff time, and guys, I think Seattle's a favorite, but don't forget to look at teams out of that AFC and the Steelers, and maybe even the Ravens that could definitely contest in the wild card spots.
Yeah, I think Baltimore, I'm not really sold on them, and now Pittsburgh without Bell. I just think Pittsburgh, they're the team that has the upper hand versus
They're the wild
Baltimore.
card, though. They are. As a potential Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I would go Pittsburgh.
Because they have that team, they have that head coach in Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. That's
such the playoff man. If he can get in, I have all the faith that he could do some damage.
Yeah, they can definitely do some damage, but everybody's, talking about how great Baltimore is. Baltimore. Luckily, gone into the playoffs. I just think Flacco's just been a circus act, and just overall they've had no show after no show.
They have no running game.
Yeah, they have no running game, and if Flacco doesn't have a running game, we know his strength is the play-action pass, and if he doesn't have that, well, they're just mediocre. They're just a mediocre team.
We're talking Ravens, Steelers right now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Prediction. I forgot about the score. I told you, Nick, so I'm going to have that pull that up for me. Set the scene for you. This game being played during the day or the night, I forget.
I hope it's night, but...
the Steelers-Ravens game? That thing's playing at 5:30.
Cold. 5:30 hours? Whatever, it doesn't matter. A cold Pittsburgh night. Let me set you the scene. Sold-out crowd. Terrible towels being waved all over the place. Enter the Baltimore Ravens. You can't even hear the announcers announce the lineup for the Ravens. There's so much booing. The game begins.
That's true.
The game begins, and Okay, the game begins. It's a defensive matchup from the start. Neither Roethlisberger or Flacco's getting anything going. Then, Roethlisberger throws a golden pass down to Antonio Brown. Lights up the Steel City. You go up 7. Now, the Ravens battle back, and by halftime, it's 9-7. Well, the Ravens say goodbye to seeing those 2 hands up in the air because they're not scoring for the rest of the game. So, the Steelers get a field goal, 10-9, and the Ravens on their own 20-yard line. Flacco throws a pick 6, 17-9 in favor of the Steelers. The Steel City's happy. Yellow reigns, but purple goes back to Baltimore.
Only one offensive touchdown. The whole game for both teams. 17-9 is very easily a final score.
Yes.
Cameron, your thoughts about Steelers-Ravens, and I think the rivalry of the century.
Yeah.
Because it's just been that good for so many years.
It's been a good rivalry, but to me, Pittsburgh is way ahead. I mean, if they had Bell, this would be a rout. But I think, Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown just bursting out on the scene, having a legendary game last night. I can't. I mean, no Baltimore Raven fan can convince me that Roethlisberger and Brown won't hook up for a big touchdown, a game-winning touchdown. And I think that's what will happen at the end. I think I don't know what score I put down.
2017.
20-17. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh edges Baltimore in a bloodbath, 20-17.
Roberto.
All right, Nick, you gotta tell me the score here. Oh yeah, I said 24-10. I think the Steelers are good. I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to come up huge. He's had some big games this year, folks. I mean, come on. I mean, fantasy football wise, if he's helped you out, he's gone 48 points in fantasy football. I know that was crazy, but we're not talking fantasy. We're talking real NFL game here. I think against Baltimore, I think it looks realistic. I mean, I think this is the last year this Pittsburgh Steelers defense will be pretty good. Because Troy Polamalu, when are you going to retire, dude? I mean, you used to be the cover of Madden, and now you're just like, as Jason we were talking about, he was like, just that guy playing in the league. Like, oh, Troy, he's still playing? Like, geez, no one really is talking to him.
I made the realization that Manti Te'o was still playing in the league before I realized that Troy was
He's
still
had
playing.
an all-right year, Te'o.
No, but I'm not saying Te'o's doing bad. I'm just saying I forgot that he still played.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think what we saw in a battle of division leaders at the time, the Steelers-Colts game that we saw the 6 TDs by Roethlisberger, I think that's more of a sign of things to come. I think the Steelers against playoff teams are pretty darn good.
And that was a tough division this year.
Yeah, the AFC North.
Yeah, and I almost thought maybe the Cleveland Browns would have gone on a winning record. But
I thought they were going to.
I thought they were going to be like 9-7 at least.
Every team was 7-4 at the halfway point of the year, which is amazing.
How many games
So
did
Cleveland lost. So Cleveland lost 5 straight.
5 straight to close out the year.
That's pretty
crazy,
bad.
huh?
If he had kept Hoyer, you would have gone 2 out of 3, in my opinion.
I've had relationships last
still
less than 5 weeks.
Wow, jeez.
You could break up with a girl after that 7th round win and find a new girl by that time the season ended.
Gosh. Well, let's be honest. The Browns' winning streak was about as temporary as Kim Kardashian's relationship life. It's just been so short term.
Got him. Did you hear Kanye actually moved out of Kim Kardashian's house or something like that?
Really?
Yeah, I heard that.
Wait,
It was like on E! News or something.
repeat what you said.
Yeah.
So Kanye West moved out of Kim Kardashian's house.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, well.
And they had a baby. They have a baby and everything.
There was also rumors for a little bit that West was going to stop making any songs. That's ridiculous.
No.
That's the drama involved with the Kardashians.
Yes.
As we move on
no one man should have that power.
No
one knows that reference. Forget you guys.
Okay, all right.
The power song by Kanye West.
Yeah.
My favorite Kanye West moment is when he took the mic from Taylor Swift and said, "I'm glad for Taylor Swift to give congratulations to Beyonce."
You know that deal is so old.
It was old, but that's like my favorite moment.
Not as old as
And
the
then he
last
cried
time the
about it.
Cardinals went to the playoffs.
Oh,
Let's be honest.
a good.
So
I love
Cardinals
this.
Panthers. That's the next wild card matchup. We'll start with you, Jason.
All right. So
What's been amazing by me, even though Carolina comes in with a losing record, they may just by the skin on their teeth, they could be a favorite in this football
They
game.
could be very much a favorite in this football game. Carolina has fought all year to be here, even though it might not be the ideal fight that a lot of us want to be seeing. It's gonna happen. It's gonna have to happen now, and it's not gonna. They're not waiting. They're fighting against the haters or so-called haters, and they're just doing their own thing.
I agree.
They're Taylor Swifting it. They're just
Yeah.
they're shaking it off.
Shake it off.
So you got the Panthers, and you got the Cardinals. The Cardinals are down to pretty much their last QB.
I mean, they got guys that are literally coming off.
Ryan Lindley.
Well, they're working. These guys, they're working at Best Buy and Home Depot last week. Now they're starting for the Cardinals this week. I mean, that quarterback thing has been a revolving door.
It's true. Let me set the scene for you. Nice, bright, still cold afternoon day in Carolina, but the Cardinals come in. They're ready. They're used to this kind of weather. But Cam Newton gets off to a very fast start and scores 14 points in that first quarter.
Yes.
From there on out, the Panthers defense lets down their guard a little. They can get tired. 14-14 at the half. And then Cam Newton's says to himself, "Oh wait, I'm Superman." 13 points, 10 points in the third quarter, 3 points just to add a little on in the fourth quarter.
That Carolina defense, right?
Carolina is happy, and Arizona is left with a bunch of question marks for the next upcoming year.
Final score 27-14. Carolina at 7-8-1. They pull it off with the win over Arizona.
Yeah, I'm picking Carolina for this one. It's going to be closer, but I have to just say this. All the Cam Newton criticism is really unfair. Because we all know Superman wears a number 1 on his chest in Carolina, and it's Cam Newton. And they're going to win.
I agree.
They're going to win 27-24 in this one. I just think Cam Newton will have a magical day, and Williams and Stewart will just burst out on the scene on the ground, and their offense will get past this very tough Arizona Cardinals defense.
Cam Newton has fought through a lot of adversity this year, missing the first game of the season to getting in a car accident. But Derek Anderson got the job done to get the win for the Carolina Panthers and keep them in the playoff race. I give credit for the Panthers, and I think this is a good situation where the two QB quarterback system actually worked in this scenario to make the playoffs, because Derek Anderson Cam Newton said, "I want them to fight hard even without me, fight through, just get the W," and they did. And I think Carolina's going to get the job done here. And I said the score for that one, I said 27-17. It's going to be by a 10-point margin, no doubt about it. Carolina is diminishing, guys. Period. I mean, you need Carson Palmer back. Drew Stanton, I thought, was actually pretty good. Drew Stanton
Talking about Arizona, diminishing.
And Drew Stanton actually beat the 49ers. And that was a really big win for them. They got some big wins with Drew Stanton and Carson Palmer. You missed Carson Palmer because he had the injury. Drew Stanton came in for a little bit. Carson Palmer comes back, gets hurt again. Then Drew Stanton, and I got Ryan Lindley. It's been very confusing, and I think that's why they're not going to make the playoffs. Just the quarterback situation. But their defense, man, that's scary.
Well, here's the situation here. In that NFC wildcard game, for Carolina, I think that their playoff game was against the Falcons. Mm-hmm. They had to get that one to win the division. But you also got to believe that Carolina is riding a huge momentum swing off of that win. 34-3. Could you imagine how confident that bunch is? I would take Carolina, but I think Bruce Arians is potential coach of the year again for that type of reason. He just takes whatever talent he has, whatever controversy. He won't win a Super Bowl. Let's be completely honest. But he will, I think, win this playoff game. Final score 20-17 in favor of the Arizona Cardinals. Moving on, again, here on the Black Monday discussion, we're talking playoffs here. In the NFC, I think the best wildcard matchup we've seen in quite some time. Both teams, potential Super Bowl competitors, and from the beginning, from the get-go, we all thought that these teams would potentially be in the race for the Super Bowl, and that's the battle between, of course, Cowboys coming in. Many people pegged them to be the worst in the NFL. Things have really switched. Same with the Lions. Now all of a sudden, these two teams, many pegged to be potential Super Bowl competitors. We'll start with Jason Garreline here. Your thoughts about the game that will be aired, I believe, I may be mistaken, but I think it's in Dallas Stadium.
It is in Dallas Stadium, and I've talked to a lot of Cowboy fans, and they couldn't be more excited for this moment. I mean, you've waited so long, and I'm looking at right now how long exactly these teams have had to wait to even go to the playoffs. I mean, you
The
remember
Cowboys haven't been